What is something the average person thinks is illegal that actually isn't? In Sweden, and maybe elsewhere, it is not illegal to try or succeed to escape from prison. In many European countries, the law takes into account if you're acting as any reasonable person would in that situation. The desire to escape is seen as reasonable. The caveat being that you can't cause harm. Committing a crime to escape. So like making a hole in the wall to escape would be destruction of property or vandalism, but trying to walk out a gate or scale a fence is fine? Yes, there is a story of a prison escape that was 100% legal. Counting cards at a casino blackjack table. It's just a strategy, nothing illegal about that. If casinos catch you, they can bar you from coming back, but you cannot be arrested. They can bar you from coming back and break your fingers in the alley behind the building. Cops lying to you. US, they don't have to tell you they're a cop. They can say literally anything to extract information. Even in interrogations. Especially in those. Anything to get you to incriminate yourself. Always request a lawyer and don't say anything else. Yes, it doesn't matter if you are genuinely innocent. Never, under any circumstances, should you talk to the police if they are arresting you/detaining you, without a lawyer present. They will twist your words and try to get you to say anything that might be incriminating. Even if you can't afford a lawyer and get a public defender, they will still know how to properly word your answers and tell you what questions to not answer from police. Piracy. If you download, in most countries, it's illegal to distribute pirated material but not to download it, mostly because the laws are a decade or two behind. Here in Canada, for instance, a copyright owner can send a warning notification to the internet provider and they're legally obligated to pass it on, but they have no obligation to punish you for it. I don't think any major providers here ban people, it doesn't affect them and you're still paying them. I'm in Canada and have gotten a few notices in the mail due to pirating movies. I can't remember the exact wording, but they say something along the lines of you have to pay X thousands of dollars to this company. There's no legal obligation to pay, but some people have ended up paying before. There's no legal obligation to pay, but some people have ended up paying before. The copyright holder can sue you to make you pay, but they never do this in Canada because there's a rather modest lifetime total you can sue for in Canada that's per work, so if you get your full money from one person, you can't threaten to sue anybody else for pirating the same thing, ever. Instead, the business model is just to send out thousands of demands and hope people settle. In the UK, trespass. Most people believe it's a criminal offense, but that's only in certain circumstances, railways, mod sites, etc. You can trespass until challenge. This law was put in place to stop hikers straying into someone's land and getting arrested. So in the UK you can trespass, but as soon as you're asked to leave and refuse, then you can be arrested. Sounds equivalent to defiant trespass in the US. Apart from we can't use force to get someone off your land, you call the police. Giving cops the middle finger. It's protected under freedom of speech. Doesn't mean it's smart to do and they won't find some reason to make your day hell. But it's legal lol. Does not apply in Germany. Insults are illegal here and are not protected by free speech. Not exclusive to cops, insults in general are illegal. UK, giving alcohol to someone under age 18. In a private residence, anyone aged 5 or over can drink alcohol. Where I live, in Wisconsin, USA, you can serve your children alcohol, I think at any age, at home, at bars, until they turn 18, at which point they have to wait until they're 21 before you can buy them a drink again. That's amazing. I love bizarre loopholes that get overlooked like that. A friend of mine is Dutch and he turned 16 2 weeks before the Netherlands raised their drinking age to 18. He was not happy about that. We just raised our smoking age from 18 to 21. The people who had been smoking for at least a couple years legally not being able to get a fix was interesting. In Germany it's legal to run away from the police if they are chasing you. But only if you don't cause any accidents doing that. So this may vary state by state, but you are allowed here in the US to wait to pull over until it is safe, though I don't know the official wording on it. Not long ago there was a big stink because a cop pit maneuvered a van on the highway who had acknowledged the officer by turning on their hazards and staying in front of the cop in the right lane. They were looking for a safe place to pull over, or at the very least not attempting to run, and the cop got impatient and flipped their car. You are also allowed to continue driving if you do not feel the car behind you is a cop, for instance, an unmarked vehicle. You call 911 and tell them your location and that someone is attempting to pull you over, and they can verify that it is or isn't an officer. She was pregnant too, and the car rolled if I remember correctly. Even after all that, first words out of the cop's mouth were this wouldn't have happened if you had just pulled over. Absolute scumbag. If it were me, I wouldn't have just sued the city. I'd have sued him personally as well. It's completely legal for a woman to be topless in public in New York City, and I believe total nudity in public is legal in Washington or Oregon or possibly both. I know in Seattle we have this springtime thing where a lot of people ride bicycles naked like a big naked parade of bike riders. I never saw that going to college for 5 years at one of the colleges in Capitol Hill. Heard of it but never saw it. Also graduated 4 years ago. Depends where in Oregon. Technically speaking, the state law says it's only illegal if you're engaged in a sex act or naked for the purposes of arousing someone. City law trumps state law though. For example, Eugene, you can be topless as a woman but it is illegal to be completely naked. Portland as well with the exception of protests, and there's probably some other places. In my state, turning left on a red light when you're on a one-way and turning onto another one-way. Nobody knows, nobody goes, and it drives me bonkers. Funny story, my driver's ed teacher once had to show a road cop her driver's manual to educate him that this is legal. A lot of people don't know lol. Cops have no responsibility to understand the laws they are enforcing. Some URL. Discussing wages with your fellow employees. Not only is it legal, your right to do so is protected by the National Labor Relations Act of 1935. It's actually illegal to tell your employees not to talk about wages with each other. This needs to have more upvotes. I just dealt with this at work a while back. Asked the new trainee what he was making right in front of my boss. He answered and boss man attempted to tell me that I could get fired for talking about our wages. I told him, do it. Exactly. There's only like 4 things it's illegal in all 50 states to fire someone over, and discussing pay is one of them. Hasn't stopped my boss from telling me in writing, email, 4 separate times this past year not to discuss pay with coworkers. Refusing service, as long as it is not based on a protected class and isn't an essential service. If you walk into my store with no intention to buy, or buy in the future, I can ask you to leave, and if you refuse, I can have you trespassed. I can kick you out for smelling bad, being rude, treating the staff disrespectfully, and for talking too loudly or with vulgar language. If you pay with a large bill or buy an expensive item with change, I can tell you to leave and come back with appropriate payment. Of course, many of these things are bad business practices and your Google/Yelp reviews will reflect that, but they are generally legal, at least in the US. This is especially true in bars, where protecting the alcohol service license is of utmost importance. Anything that jeopardizes my liquor license is something you'll get 86'd for, and the law is generally on my side. On the civil court side of things there are more gray areas. While you can't refuse people for having a service animal, you can refuse them if the individual or their animal turns out to be disruptive. Source, trained on this at work, and my BFF has a service dog. Guess which was more informative? Driving with the interior light on in the car. If you're a dad driving, it's both illegal and a death sentence. The driver will immediately lose control of the car and it will veer off the road and crash into a brick wall, killing all the occupants inside, and then you'll be arrested and thrown into prison for life. As a corpse, I can confirm. If only all toxic politicians were corpses. For legal reasons, this is a joke. Tax avoidance. Perfectly legal. Tax evasion is a completely different story. Many people don't understand the difference, while at the same time engage in tax avoidance every year with their 401k plans, IRA investments, healthcare savings accounts, commuter benefits, flexible spending accounts, mortgage interest deduction, etc. So what's the difference? It's not actually tax avoidance, it's tax deferral. You still owe the taxes on it, but you pay them later. Sometimes with discounts. Tax evasion is lying about your taxes or refusing to pay the tax you owe. In Canada, women can be shirtless wherever men can. Though women still get arrested for this. Most of the USA, too. As long as you're just going about your business and not attempting to arouse prurient interest or words to that effect, you're legally fine. Edit, here's a starting point for those who are interested. Some URL. Is this true? I went to Hawaii and no woman was topless on the beach. It's definitely legal in NY and I've never seen a woman topless on the beach here either.